Millions of drivers are completely clueless about why their car's AC quietly gets weaker every single summer. But here's the shocking part. One 5-minute trick could save you from a $2,000 compressor replacement, and it can make your vents feel almost twice as cold as they do right now. And you're probably making this mistake every single time you get in your car. Here's 15 hidden AC secrets you need to know. Let's begin with secret number 15. Secret number 15. Clean your condenser like a pro. Your condenser sits right behind your front grille, and it's basically a bug magnet every time you drive on the highway. Your AC feels weaker every summer, and you probably think it just needs a recharge. Mechanics will quote you $90 to $160 for a condenser service, claiming it needs special equipment to clean safely. But here's the fix that costs you nothing but a garden hose. Let the car cool down first. Grab a hose on a gentle setting and rinse straight through the fins from the front. Use a soft brush for caked-on bugs, working in the same direction as the fins so you don't bend them. Let it dry completely before you start the engine. Do this once and your vents will feel noticeably colder within the first few minutes of your next drive. No recharge required. What they don't tell you is that a caked-up condenser can't release heat, so your refrigerant stays hot all the way back to the compressor, which is exactly what burns compressors out early. And here's the kicker. This same 15 minutes also protects your engine's radiator, since it's usually sitting right behind the same grill catching the same grime. That's exactly why a shop would rather sell you a recharge than point a hose at your car for free. Secret 14 is even cheaper. Secret number 14. The cabin air filter swap. Your AC has felt weak for months and you assumed it was low on refrigerant. A shop will hand you a diagnostic bill of $80 to $120 before they even tell you it's just the filter. Here's what's actually happening. Every bit of air your AC blows has to pass through that filter first, and if it's packed with dust, pollen, and leaf debris, your blower is fighting for every cubic foot of air it pushes out. Pop your glove box open, squeeze the side tabs, and it drops right down. Slide the old filter out, slide a new one in, a name brand one runs about $20 online, and close the glove box back up. You'll feel the difference in airflow the second you turn the fan back on, and that stronger airflow is what makes the same cold air feel colder on your skin. What they don't tell you is that this part is usually rated for a 12 to 15,000 mile change, but almost nobody ever checks it until the smell gives it away. Secret number 13. Master the recirculation button. That little button with the car icon and the curved arrow is the most misunderstood control in your entire dashboard, and most drivers never touch it. Leave it off, and your AC spends the whole drive trying to chill fresh 95-degree air pulled in from outside. Here's the physics of it. In recirculation mode, your system is only cooling air that's already been cooled once, so it doesn't have nearly as much heat to remove. That's a much easier job for the same compressor, which means the air coming out the vents gets colder, faster, with less strain on the system. Drive with the windows down for the first 15 seconds to flush out trapped heat, then hit recirculation and crank the fan to max. You'll feel a real, noticeable drop within a couple of minutes. What they don't tell you is that this also takes pressure off your fuel economy, since the compressor isn't working nearly as hard to hit the same temperature. And here's the kicker. It also blocks a lot of exhaust fumes from other cars when you're stuck in traffic. Secret number 12. Purge the heat instead of pre-cooling. If you've ever started your car 10 minutes early just to pre-cool it before you get in, you've been burning fuel for almost nothing. Idling your AC to cool an empty car burns roughly half a gallon of fuel an hour for a job it's not built to do efficiently. Here's the smarter version. Get in, start the car, and immediately roll every window down while the fan runs on low. Give it about 15 seconds, and that's long enough for the superheated air trapped inside to escape. Then crank the fan to max, roll the front windows up, and leave the rear windows cracked for a few more seconds before sealing the car completely. You'll be at a comfortable temperature faster than any pre-cooling session, and you never wasted a drop of fuel idling in a driveway. What they don't tell you is that a hot sealed cabin can hit well over 110 degrees on a warm day, and no AC system was ever designed to fight that much trapped heat from a dead stop. Secret number 11. Stop pointing the vents at your face. Almost everyone does this the second they get in a hot car. Crank the AC, point every vent straight at their face. Feels great for about 10 seconds. But this is actually working against you the whole drive. Cold air is denser than hot air, so it sinks. Blast it straight at your face and it warms up on contact, then just pools in front of you while the hot air sitting up near the ceiling never gets touched. Instead, aim your side vents toward the side windows and your center vents up toward the roof. That sends the cold air across the cabin and up, so it circulates and pushes the trapped hot air down and out naturally. Your whole cabin ends up cooling faster and more evenly, and you're not sitting in a wind tunnel to get there. What they don't tell you is that this single adjustment can be the difference between the front seat is freezing and the back seat is an oven, and an evenly cooled car. That's exactly the kind of free fix that never gets mentioned during a paid AC inspection. Secret number 10. Use a windshield shade park in direct sun for an hour on an 80-degree day, and your cabin can climb past 100 degrees, sometimes closer to 118 with the windows up. Your AC then has to fight that trapped heat from the very first second you turn the key, which can burn up to 20% more fuel than cooling a car that started at a normal temperature. Here's the fix. Park in shade whenever it's available. When it's not, a $9 reflective windshield shade can knock as much as 40 degrees off your dash and steering wheel temperature. That means your AC starts from a much lower baseline, so it reaches ice-cold air noticeably faster once you're driving. What they don't tell you is that this also protects your dash and seats from UV cracking over time, so it's paying you back twice. Secret number 9. Get your refrigerant charge exactly right. If your AC has gone from ice cold to just cool, most people assume they need more refrigerant. Sometimes that's true, but not always. A shop will charge $300 to $400 for a recharge, and if their machine doesn't fully recover the old gas first, they can accidentally overfill your system without telling you. Here's why that matters. Too little refrigerant, and there isn't enough to absorb heat properly. Too much, and pressures rise so high the system actually loses cooling capacity. Either mistake gives you the exact same symptom: weak, lukewarm air. If you want to check it yourself, a basic recharge kit with gauges runs around $50, and the instructions walk you through hooking into the low-pressure port and watching the gauge so you never overfill it. What they don't tell you is that topping it off without checking the actual pressure is exactly how systems end up overcharged in the first place, which is the number one reason a recharge doesn't actually fix the problem. Before we get to the sneakiest ones on this list, do me a quick favor and hit that like button. We spent days pulling apart real service invoices and forum threads to put this list together, and it genuinely helps get this in front of more drivers who are getting overcharged for 5-minute fixes. Okay, back to it. Secret number 8. Check your serpentine belt. Your compressor doesn't spin on its own. It's driven by a belt connected straight to your engine. If you drive a high-mileage car, ignoring this belt can lead to a compressor bill north of $2,000. A cracked, glazed, or slipping serpentine belt can't grip the pulleys firmly enough, so your compressor doesn't spin at the speed it needs to build proper pressure, and the AC output drops even though nothing else is technically wrong. Pop the hood, find the belt looping around the compressor pulley, and check it for cracks, fraying, or a squeal when the AC kicks on. A replacement belt costs under $70, and most models have a YouTube walkthrough specific to that exact engine. What they don't tell you is that a slipping belt puts extra heat and stress directly on the compressor clutch, the same part that costs thousands to replace if it fails completely. Secret number 7. Inspect your cooling fans. Behind your condenser and radiator sit 1 or 2 electric cooling fans, and almost nobody ever checks if they're actually spinning. Without airflow across the condenser, your refrigerant can't release heat, and the entire system loses cooling, especially at idle or in stop-and-go traffic where there's no natural airflow from driving. Start the car, run the AC on full blast, and after about 5 minutes pop the hood and watch the fans. Both should be spinning steadily. If one's dead, a replacement fan assembly online runs under $200 versus $400 to $500 for the same part through a dealer parts counter. What they don't tell you is that a single dead fan often lets the system limp along for a while before it fails completely, which is exactly why it gets missed until the AC stops working altogether. That's the kind of slow failure a shop would rather diagnose later at a much bigger bill than have you catch for free under your own hood. Secret number 6. Don't ignore your coolant level. Here's one that trips up even people who know cars. Your engine coolant has nothing to do with cooling your cabin, except when it does. Many modern cars will automatically shut off the AC compressor the moment the engine starts running hot, and low coolant is one of the fastest ways to trigger that. Here's the logic behind it. The onboard computer protects the engine first, and it treats the AC compressor as extra load it can shed. If your coolant is low and your engine temperature creeps up, you'll suddenly get warm air blowing, even though your AC system itself is completely fine. Pop the hood, check the coolant reservoir against the fill lines, and top it off with the correct coolant type if it's low. It takes 5 minutes and rules out a phantom AC problem before you spend money chasing the wrong repair. Secret number 5. The magnetic clutch relay swap. If your AC button lights up, but literally nothing happens, this is usually the part to blame, and almost nobody knows it exists. A shop will charge you $120 just to diagnose it, then another $60 to $80 to swap a part that it costs $20 retail. Here's how it works. Your compressor is engaged by a magnetic clutch, and that clutch is triggered by a small relay in your fuse box. When the relay dies, the compressor never gets the signal to engage, no matter how healthy everything else is. Open your fuse box, find a relay with the same amp rating, the horn relay usually matches, and swap it into the AC clutch slot. If the AC suddenly works, you've confirmed the relay was the problem. A replacement relay costs $20 to $30 at any auto parts store. What they don't tell you is that this test takes about 5 minutes and 0 tools, which is exactly why a shop would rather run a full diagnostic than mention it. Secret number 4. Test the compressor. Clutch yourself. This is the test that can tell you whether you're looking at a $30 part or a $2,000 one. With the car off, find the compressor near the front of the engine. It's the part with 2 refrigerant lines running into it, and try turning the outer pulley by hand. It should spin freely. If it spins fine, disconnect the electrical connector near the clutch, set a multimeter to ohms, and touch the probes to the 2 contacts. A healthy clutch coil reads somewhere between 2 and 5 ohms. Way outside that range and the clutch coil itself is dead. Here's the money-saving part. A clutch alone runs $60 to $150, while a full compressor runs $900 to $1,300 plus labor. Mechanics tend to recommend the full compressor because it's the bigger job, but if your clutch tests bad, you can specifically ask for just the clutch replacement. Secret number 3. The evaporator temperature sensor. Deep behind your dashboard sits a small sensor that monitors your evaporator core so it never freezes solid and blocks airflow completely. When it fails, your vent temperature swings wildly. Ice cold 1 minute, barely cool the next. And most people assume it's a refrigerant leak. The sensor feeds temperature data to your car's computer, which uses it to cycle the compressor clutch on and off. A bad reading means the computer either runs the compressor non-stop or shuts it off at the wrong moments. On most cars, this means removing part of the dashboard or glove box to reach it, so this one's more involved. If you're comfortable with a multimeter, you can test its resistance change with temperature. If not, at least you now know what to ask a mechanic to check before they quote you a full AC teardown. What they don't tell you is that shops know this repair is labor-heavy, which is exactly why the labor line on the invoice is usually 3 to 4 times the cost of the $30 to $60 sensor itself. That's exactly why it pays to ask specifically for this part by name before you approve any AC labor quote. Secret number 2. Kill the smell with a $5 trick. That musty smell hitting you the second the AC kicks on isn't just unpleasant. It's mold and bacteria growing inside your evaporator housing. Detailers charge upward of $160 for a full evaporator cleaning to fix exactly this. Moisture collects in the plenum at the base of your windshield, and any debris that sneaks past your intake gives mold something to grow on in that dark, damp space, which then gets blown straight into your face every time the fan runs. Pull your cabin air filter out first, set the fan to its lowest setting, roll the windows down, and spray an AC safe disinfectant directly into the intake at the windshield's base. The fan pulls it through the entire system as it runs. What they don't tell you is that killing that bacteria also restores airflow that mold buildup had been quietly choking off. So, on top of smelling better, the air coming out actually feels stronger and colder. Secret number 1. Run your AC year-round. This is the one that causes more AC failures than everything else on this list combined, and it happens in winter, not summer. Skip using your AC for months at a time, and you're looking at a repair bill that can run $1,600 to $2,100 once everything finally gives out. Here's why. Your refrigerant carries oil that lubricates every seal and moving part in the system. Stop running it, and that oil stops circulating. Seals dry out and crack, hoses get brittle, and metal components inside the compressor start to corrode from sitting still. The fix costs you nothing but 5 minutes. Whether it's July or January, run your AC on max cool for 5 to 10 minutes once a week. That keeps the oil moving, the seals soft, and the compressor lubricated all year long. This single habit is the reason some cars still blow ice cold at 200,000 miles, while others need a full system rebuild by 80,000. Same parts, same design, completely different maintenance. Which one of these secrets shocked you the most? Drop it in the comments below. If this saved you from a repair bill, hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got a lot more of these breakdowns coming. Click on the video on your screen right now. You'll be surprised what you find in there.